She once lived in luxury, surrounded by power, wealth, and endless attention. Now, everything has changed. Quiet places, simple choices, and a life far from the spotlight have taken over. Sarah Ferguson's new world feels almost unrecognizable. But what really happened behind the scenes to bring her here? And where is she hiding now? The rise she built from the ashes. In order to comprehend Sarah Ferguson's current situation in the year 2026, one must acknowledge the extent of her own accomplishments. Her journey is not insignificant, marked by courageous decisions, unwavering determination, and a profound determination to bounce back despite setbacks. The agony of witnessing the decline of something influential lies in remembering how formidable it once was. In July of 1986, Sarah Margaret Ferguson wed Prince Andrew in a ceremony filled with happiness and affection. Her vibrant and unique personality stood out, as she was known for her humor and authenticity, breaking away from the traditional mold of the royal family. During this period, she garnered immense popularity and admiration among the people of Britain. However, that fleeting moment of success quickly dissipated. Conflict began to dominate her life. Incidents of scandal, negative press, and widespread humiliation haunted her. In 1996, her marriage came to an end in a divorce. Financial difficulties escalated, with reports suggesting that she was in debt for millions. As the 1990s drew to a close, her credibility dwindled and she became the target of cruel jokes. The palace distanced itself from her, signaling the end of her royal duties and leaving her future in doubt. However, there was a misunderstood aspect about her that many individuals failed to comprehend. Rather than fading away, she opted to persevere. Instead of surrendering, she made the decision to gradually reconstruct her life. She advanced with determination and a definite sense of direction. She served as a spokesperson for a slimming product line in America, which allowed her to make money and improve her reputation. Through her publications for kids, she connected with audiences and achieved prosperity. Her appearances at conferences, where she recounted her journey and motivated listeners, garnered her admiration and a reliable source of money. With time passing, she established an extensive web of contacts. Mingling with affluent individuals, corporate heads, and celebrities intrigued by her life, she capitalized on every opportunity to expand her power. Gradually, she transformed herself into a recognizable business identity. During her prime, she was in control of her own business kingdom. She owned businesses in the fields of events, media, and investments. She backed charitable organizations and utilized them to enhance her public reputation positively. She collaborated with various brands, formed alliances, and participated in exclusive wellness retreats where her reputation alone was valuable. She transformed into a prominent figure who could market concepts, narratives, and adventures well before this kind of influence became widespread. She possessed a subtle yet strong presence that went beyond her other qualities. Despite not holding a formal position, her ties to the royal family provided her with a sense of security. She stayed connected enough to be visible, recognized, and involved. But one mistake took it all down. What broke this facade? The emails that brought everything down. In the year 2026, a significant publication of papers by the U.S. Department of Justice brings about a significant shift. It is not just a minor update or a basic report, but rather a vast influx of data. The amount of information is immense, with millions of pages, numerous private emails, and years' worth of secretive discussions. These were communications that individuals assumed would forever remain unseen by others. As people start sifting through the vast array of documents, they come across numerous notable individuals such as politicians, rich people, and influential figures from around the world. However, amidst this overwhelming amount of information, one link stands out above the rest, leading straight to Sarah Ferguson. The contents of those emails completely undermine the narrative she had meticulously crafted over an extended period of time. The public was aware of some aspects of her past prior to this particular instance. There was a time when she received payment from Jeffrey Epstein in 2010, stating that it was to repay a personal debt. She had also been spotted with him in New York and captured on camera entering his residence. Subsequently, during a public appearance, she acknowledged that her association with him had been an error. She expressed profound remorse and asserted that she had severed all connections with him. Many individuals had been in agreement with that narrative for quite some time. It appeared to be a lapse in judgment followed by sincere remorse. It aligned with the persona she had put effort into reconstructing. She was seen as a woman who had made errors but had grown from the experience. However, the emails narrate an entirely different account. New information has emerged from private messages dating back to April 2011. These messages revealed that, despite his previous conviction, a person known as Sarah contacted him once more. Instead of expressing anger or keeping her distance, she made a plea for assistance. Sarah requested employment, citing financial need. Despite any past knowledge about him, she continued to view him as a reliable source of assistance. Simply acknowledging that fact is challenging. However, the gravity of the issue escalates further. In March of that year, a conversation took place regarding a news article that portrayed him in a severe manner. The message sent to Sarah expressed remorse for their public association, indicating that her decision to distance herself was not rooted in strong moral convictions, but rather a strategic move to maintain her reputation. This little piece of information completely alters the situation. It reveals a discrepancy between words spoken openly and true feelings kept private. Despite the public's belief that she had moved on, these messages hint that the bond was not completely severed. The additional information from the records further enhances the narrative. It is noted that she facilitated introductions, acting as a bridge for his connections. Furthermore, the documents indicate prolonged financial assistance spanning several years. These specifics present a starkly contrasting portrayal compared to the public's previous perception. This scandal resonated deeply with a lot of individuals, going beyond just being another instance of wrongdoing. It went beyond mere errors made in the past, delving into the realms of trust and honesty. The notion that someone could publicly portray one narrative while leading a different life in private elicited a powerful response. In early 2026, once these emails were exposed to the public, there was an immediate and forceful reaction. It wasn't the typical pattern of initial shock followed by gradual forgiveness. The sentiment was intense and long-lasting. Individuals experienced a profound feeling of letdown. The positive and optimistic persona she had carefully crafted for years now seemed shaky. Instead of a narrative of resilience and progress, doubts about truthfulness and motive took center stage. In contrast to minor errors, this type of response lingers for a long time. In the current era, data remains permanent. Online documents never vanish, persisting for future viewing. The messages not only exposed secret conversations, but also completely altered people's perceptions of her. Years of reputation building were swiftly destroyed, leading to a lingering atmosphere of uncertainty and silence. Then, the worst happened. A week, 6 companies. When the public completely rejects a figure, the consequences are swift, intense, and irreversible. Sarah Ferguson experienced this firsthand in 2026. What started as a tarnished reputation swiftly escalated into the utter dismantling of her legacy. The transformation became evident during one week in February 2026. The documents release caused a ripple effect worldwide, leading to the immediate closure or pending removal of 6 companies associated with her. This happened within just 7 days, marking a swift decline rather than a gradual one. Each of these businesses had played a role in helping her start anew. They symbolized her transition from disgrace to triumph in the business world. Each one exemplified her endeavor to turn her troubled history into something resilient. However, within just 1 week, they all vanished without a trace. A subtle yet impactful narrative emerges from the list. Phoenix Events, Fergus Farm, Luna Investments, Solomon Limited, Philanthroped, and Planet Partners Productions Limited had all disappeared. She had been associated with each of these companies as a director, but they were all suddenly removed simultaneously. The timing was strategic, aligning precisely with the release of the documents. This was no coincidence. It was a direct sequence of events. Once the information was exposed, trust among the public eroded, ultimately leading to the downfall of the businesses. Belief is a crucial factor for establishing a brand. Trust in the company's name is essential for its value to be maintained. Without the support of others, no company can survive or expand. When the reputation of a person becomes tarnished, it negatively impacts the companies associated with them, causing them to lose their original intent. They shut down without any fanfare, making no grand declarations or giving detailed reasoning. The absence of noise filled the air as each aspect of her professional life was gradually dismantled. However, even at this point, the sorrow did not reach its lowest point. After a couple of days, something of greater significance concluded. Sarah's Trust, the charity she had established and introduced to the public with delight, declared its temporary closure. This was more than just a regular endeavor. It symbolized the core of her reputation in the public eye. It portrayed her as a compassionate individual, someone with a desire to assist others. The timing of this choice could not be overlooked. The release of the emails had just occurred. They had sparked doubts regarding her behaviors and motives. Soon after, the charity spreading her message of compassion came to a sudden halt. Fans who had supported her through previous difficulties ultimately distanced themselves. Previously, there was tolerance and opportunities for redemption. However, this instance appeared unique. The reaction was swifter and more decisive. Indications of this shift had actually begun some time ago. The year prior, minor rifts had started to show. Certain charitable organizations had made the decision to distance themselves from her. A children's book she had been involved with was discreetly withdrawn from publication. At first glance, these incidents may have appeared insignificant, but they served as initial alerts. The situation became apparent by the year 2026. No remaining businesses were operating. Charity efforts had come to a standstill. Collaborations with publishers and brands had ceased. The established roles and support systems had disappeared. The organizational framework she had painstakingly constructed over the years had crumbled. After all was said and done, she was left with a personal life influenced by her well-known history. With the passing of time, her network of allies started to dwindle. It poses a straightforward yet impactful inquiry. How could something that required significant time to construct disintegrate in such a brief period? The response is silent, yet evident. A lot of it was constructed based on perception. Trust is the foundation of perception. If that trust is shattered, it is impossible to restore it the same way. But how did she get here? The quiet journey that led her away. Before arriving at the serene shores of Ireland, it is crucial to understand the journey that brought Sarah Ferguson to this destination. The transition from the end of 2025 to the beginning of 2026 reveals a profound narrative. This experience goes beyond mere physical travel. It represents a quest for inner peace amidst mounting stress and tension. Each location she visited marked a pivotal moment in her personal odyssey. In December of 2025, she made her final public appearance by attending her granddaughter, Athena's christening. Despite appearing cheerful and participating actively alongside her family, she chose to depart the United Kingdom quietly after the holiday season, without giving any formal explanations or announcements, stepping away from the public eye. The first place she visited was Zurich in Switzerland, but it wasn't for leisure. She arrived at the Paracelsus Recovery Clinic, a renowned facility known for its exclusive privacy and top-notch treatment. People seeking relaxation and assistance are warmly received here, as the clinic provides a blend of health services and emotional support in a tranquil environment. The price for accommodations at that location is exorbitant. A staggering sum of around $15,000 is required for just one day. This begs the question, how is it possible for someone facing financial hardship to cover such a hefty expense? The explanation remains somewhat murky, however. There are indications pointing towards the likelihood that she did not solely foot the bill. The fact that her name was associated with the clinic implies that her presence may have held significance for them, possibly serving as a form of payment. It is reported that she was greatly impacted by the circumstances around her during that period. She required solitude, time alone, and the opportunity to reflect. The facility provided all of these things, becoming a haven where she could escape from distractions and concentrate on her own well-being. After leaving Switzerland, she relocated once more to the French Alps. During her time there, she connected with dear friends. This segment of her travels felt more serene and intimate. Although brief, her stay highlighted the importance of surrounding herself with trusted individuals. She then proceeded to travel to the United Arab Emirates. The decision to go there was driven by a new goal, not just for relaxation. It also involved planning for the future. Having established solid ties in the Gulf region over a long period, these connections became crucial to her in the face of rapid changes in her circumstances. During her time in the United Arab Emirates, she focused on re-establishing connections and contemplating her future plans. She was transparent about her circumstances, acknowledging the importance of returning to employment and regaining financial stability. The emphasis shifted from appearances to practicality, highlighting the urgency of addressing genuine life necessities. The area had a significant meaning for her. She and Prince Andrew had established deep connections there over a long period of time. These ties had importance. Relationships and social connections are highly valued in that specific region. This meant that her name could still have an impact in only a handful of places. However, this could not continue indefinitely. In February 2026, there was another significant change. Reports surfaced about the arrest of Prince Andrew, catching everyone by surprise. This sudden development captured widespread interest and put a spotlight back on all aspects related to him, including his ex-wife. As things became more critical, she quietly made another choice. She departed from the United Arab Emirates. This time, the decision had a different feeling. It was not a move towards a work-related destination or social network. It was a step towards a place of tranquility. She journeyed to the northwestern shores of Ireland, to an isolated and breezy location she had previously explored. This spot lacked opulence and bustle. It was modest, serene, and secluded from the hustle and bustle. It was somewhere she had once referred to as a sanctuary for burdened souls. Her last stop on the journey represents a significant transformation, transitioning from public appearances to secluded getaways, from bustling metropolises to peaceful countryside. Every transition reflects a different aspect of the same narrative. It illustrates the tale of an individual seeking solace, enlightenment, and direction during a period marked by uncertainty. From luxury to quiet simplicity. Valley Lifen Lodge and Spa is located on the rugged Atlantic coast of County Donegal. It exudes a sense of tranquility and beauty that is unmatched. The landscape has a sense of history and resilience. The ocean crashes against the shore with a strong force, while the wind brings a refreshing and pure breeze from distant lands. It is a sanctuary where time seems to stand still, where distractions melt away, and where one can truly relax and rejuvenate. The accommodations are cozy and inviting. This hotel is rated 4 stars and provides a modest yet cozy experience. The accommodations are delightful, the staff is friendly, and the atmosphere is serene. While it may not be overly luxurious, it doesn't have to be. What it does offer is a unique sense of tranquility. In February 2026, Sarah Ferguson arrived discreetly without causing any commotion or attracting attention. She was spotted at a local airport, blending in with the other travelers. There was no big entourage awaiting her arrival, no extravagant demands, and no lavish reception. She quietly checked in like any ordinary guest. The unique aspect of this particular moment is not just the location, but also the price. Staying at the lodge costs approximately £113 per night. Though this amount may appear basic, it holds significant significance when compared to her previous circumstances only weeks earlier. She resided in a luxury clinic in Switzerland, where the expenses could amount to £15,000 daily, signifying a lifestyle of privilege and entry. Transitioning from that to just £113 per night signifies a significant transformation, not only in finances, but also in the way of life. Simply put, it signifies a drastic decrease. In the world of finance, this type of decline would be considered a total devaluation. However, in this context, it has a more intimate impact. It demonstrates the speed at which circumstances can shift and how a lifestyle once defined by opulence can transition to something simpler. In locations such as Mayfair in London, where she previously enjoyed her leisure time, £113 wouldn't stretch very much. It could possibly pay for a portion of a meal or a brief activity. However, in Donegal, that identical sum of money provides a completely different experience. It provides serenity, solitude, and room to breathe. It offers a panorama of the ocean, leisurely strolls, and moments for reflection. This place held a special significance for her because it was familiar. She had visited it previously and had talked about how she found comfort in Donegal when things became overwhelming in her life. Donegal was a place she was familiar with and where she felt secure. The employees at the resort knew who she was. The community members were accustomed to seeing her around. However, there was no sense of urgency. No photographers eagerly waiting. No overwhelming crowd. Only a quiet acknowledgement and admiration for her desire to have some privacy. This was a deliberate departure, not an impulsive act. She was going back to a location where she had found solace in the past, a spot where she could detach from her surroundings and just be without any demands placed upon her. She had the option to stroll by the shoreline, experiencing the breeze and the soothing sound of the ocean. It was an opportunity for her to blend in as a regular guest, donning a basic jacket as she went about her day. In this context, the figure 113 takes on a deeper significance beyond its monetary value. It represents not only a loss, but also a transformation. It signifies a transition from chaos to tranquility. It indicates a move from focus to introspection. In the silence, there exists a gentle and comforting element. It serves as a gentle nudge that, amidst shifting circumstances, there are still havens where one can find solace, and yet the shadows of the past never left her. The shadow that quietly follows. This is the point where the narrative takes a turn towards a more profound and weighty direction. It is no more just about people's views or tarnished reputation. It transitions into a realm bustling with legal inquiries and tangible outcomes. In the year 2026, the discussions regarding Sarah Ferguson have evolved beyond just mere newspaper titles. They now involve legal matters, procedures, and anticipation of the future events. The legal community is primarily concerned with discussions about statements, potential interviews, and the extent of her involvement in ongoing investigations. Experts are emphasizing the importance of accountability and participation, rather than focusing on feelings of embarrassment. There has been a noticeable shift in the overall tone of the conversation, with a more serious emphasis now being placed on the subject matter. Several experts speculate that if she comes back to the UK, authorities might reach out to her. This would not just be a casual inquiry, it would be a formal and straightforward request. They may want to interview her as a key witness. This potential scenario looms in the shadows, influencing her decisions. The intensity of the situation is heightened by the rapid changes happening around her. In February 2026, her ex-husband Prince Andrew was taken into custody. Shortly after, another prominent public figure found themselves in a similar predicament. These occurrences increased the pressure and put a spotlight on all those involved in the larger narrative. Sarah Ferguson is currently not considered a suspect, and there is no warrant for her arrest. She has not been officially summoned for interrogation. However, the severity of the situation persists as the legal process progresses gradually rather than all at once. An essential factor that influences everything is her current status as a regular citizen. She no longer has any official involvement with the royal family. She lacks the formal security typically associated with royalty. Consequently, she is subject to the same legal standards and procedures as any ordinary individual. This shift holds significant importance. Previously, her proximity to the royal family may have shielded her from certain pressures. Now, that protective layer is gone. She is standing independently, ready to confront whatever challenges lie ahead, without any special protection. Her identity is mentioned in the documents that have been made public, which links her to the ongoing investigation. The communications, financial transactions, and personal interactions that are documented further implicate her in the overall case. This information places her in a broader context that is currently under close scrutiny. Legal professionals have also posed additional inquiries. Certain individuals have proposed that she may be summoned to testify before governmental organizations in America. Others have highlighted financial issues that could undergo scrutiny by legal entities. Furthermore, there are reservations about the management of specific charitable endeavors in previous years. Currently, none of these measures have been officially implemented. However, they are still on the table as viable choices that could be put into effect at any moment. The reason for the uncertainty in the situation is the unpredictable nature of what lies ahead, rather than being determined by past events. Every potential outcome looms in the background, ready to make an appearance. The current atmosphere can be accurately depicted as tension, rather than noise or chaos. This tension silently lingers around her at all times, influencing her choices without needing any attention. And thus, the narrative progresses with a gentle yet earnest tone. It's not about being loud or quick, but rather about being cautious and observant. So, what does this move mean for her future? the plan for a new life. As the narrative progresses, the emphasis shifts. It is no longer solely about enduring a challenging situation. It evolves into something more profound and enduring. The new focus is not on just weathering the storm, but on finding tranquility in life. This change in perspective introduces a fresh mindset that considers the long-term future. Sarah Ferguson is reportedly exploring the possibility of a strategic, long-term goal. She is contemplating on finding a place where she can establish a sense of security and stability. The desire to live free from ongoing stress has been influencing her recent actions and choices. A specific location is highlighted in this proposal, with the United Arab Emirates emerging as a potential solution. It is not viewed as a temporary retreat, but rather as a permanent residence where both she and Prince Andrew could establish themselves. The concept is not centered around seeking temporary refuge, but rather about embarking on a new beginning in a new setting. The decision was made for specific reasons. She and Prince Andrew have spent years establishing deep ties in the Gulf area. These connections were not established quickly, but were cultivated over time through various interactions and shared moments. These strong relationships continue to hold significance and sway. In many countries, building strong connections is crucial. The bonds formed through personal experiences and connections can provide unique opportunities that may not be available in other areas. For individuals struggling in different parts of the world, this can be viewed as a valuable chance to receive assistance and guidance. It presents an opportunity to seek help in places where it is more readily available. This plan also has a pragmatic aspect. In numerous regions, her reputation has diminished. Economic prospects have diminished. Popular backing has waned. However, in the Gulf, there may be room for rejuvenation. The combination of acknowledgement and networking could pave the way for a fresh start. Upon initial observation, this concept appears to possess a unique equilibrium. It combines elements of familiarity, potential, and a sense of detachment from the stress encountered in other situations. It gives the impression of being a deliberate and mindful decision. Nonetheless, amidst all the chaos, there exists a solitary truth that remains steadfast. It is impervious to the constraints of time and space. The evidence endures, the records endure. The data that was once made public persists, eternal and readily available. This is the portion of the narrative that cannot be avoided by any strategy. Relocating to a different location may alter the environment, but it cannot erase what has already been exposed. The digital data remains permanent, crossing boundaries and staying in the realm of the public. Legal proceedings are not solely reliant on jurisdiction, but can transcend borders through collaboration between legal systems, allowing external pressures to persist even in a different country. She has encountered significant challenges that have impacted the narrative of her life that had been carefully crafted. Despite the obstacles she faced, she was able to emerge stronger and more resilient. Her history of overcoming adversity became a source of inspiration and empowerment. Her journey served as a beacon of admiration for many individuals. The perception of her has now shifted. This shift was not gradual. It occurred rapidly, influenced by her public statements and behavior. What was once stable now seems unpredictable. The influence is evident. Commercial endeavors have come to a close. Collaborations have weakened. Public responsibilities have vanished. The framework she painstakingly constructed over the years has now shifted in form. Amidst the chaos, the notion of beginning anew in a different location seems more reasonable. It goes beyond just seizing opportunities, but also about discovering a setting where one can regain a sense of control over life. However, the underlying reality still stands. Certain things can be reconstructed through dedication and perseverance. Some are more challenging to revive. Trust, once it is broken, is not quickly regained. Throughout her travels, she has ample opportunities to ponder and meditate. Serene days, tranquil environments, and a chance to contemplate the unforeseen future. The road ahead may deviate from her initial expectations. Ultimately, what she truly missed out on was not wealth or social standing, but the faith and backing of those who once supported her narrative. This crucial element greatly influences all that comes after.